Hey everybody, this is Wayne, and I'm back again to give you my full review of the FlipEars Legion. So I've had the FlipEars Legion for about a week now. I really put it through its paces. This is one of the major IEMs that I had in my ear, along with a few others, and I'm ready to give you my full thoughts. So I actually took the FlipEars Legion to a audio meetup in San Jose last weekend, and had a few other people listen to it, including Audio Amigo and Jatus. I'm not sure who's getting it first, but I will be moving this product on and letting other people kind of give it a listen. But everybody's impressions of it were equal to how I felt, which was this is an impressive, unique, fun-sounding IEM. So I want to thank again Aries, FlipEars for the opportunity to review this and also move it on, and I'm going to be sending that on soon. So cue the B-roll. This is a new thing that I'm introducing. So the FlipEars Legion is a one dynamic driver, one bone conductor driver that they call Earquake, and then one EST. I think it's a custom one, so it's not listed like a Sonian or anything like that. The one DD, one BCD, one EST setup kind of provides very good balance overall. The dynamic driver is used for the bass. The BCD kind of targets the mids as well as the bass to give you like, quote unquote, like being in an arena with full-size speakers. They completely nailed that. And the EST helps provide the good clear highs that help keep it more balanced as opposed to too L-shape. The faceplate is still gorgeous as heck. And the inspiration for it, according to the kind of the marketing material, is that Aries really enjoyed the story of King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. Honestly, I kind of feel a little bit like the helmet and the look is more Spartan-esque, so, you know, cue all my 300 GIFs and stuff like that I'll be linking in here. But yeah, that is the FlipEars Legion, and let's get into the overall sound and breakdown of how I feel about everything. Maybe we'll have some comparisons for you, but let's get into it. So how does the FlipEars Legion sound? It is fun. It is bassy. It has great balance. It is just a vibe. Like, it is one of the most fun IEMs I've listened to in a long time. I've listened to a lot. I've listened to other BCD sets that are fun, but you know, they're not like as engaging, nearly as engaging as this. The closest I can think of with as far as the aggressive BCD implementation is like the Z Empire ZE51B, where it is just punching and shaking and rattling your skull. Like, that's what the Legion does in a more refined way. If you actually play music on the Legion and you're holding it, you can feel the vibrations that it's trying to like put into your ear hole, and it is fun. It is a complete vibe. And with that being said, you're not missing anything on the mids, you're not missing anything on the treble. The vocals are great. They're brought forward, they're not recessed. You're getting good quality from top down, and it is punching way above its weight here. So, the bass. It is deep sounding. It is punchy. There is note weight. There is fast, hard-hitting attack, but at the same time, as punchy as the bass is, it is deep sounding, and it's subwoofer quality that is really enveloping, engaging you. And even as deep and as hard-hitting as a bass is, and it is essentially a bass cannon here with the BCD implementation, it's not overwhelming any other part of the sound, in my opinion. Like, I still get great vocals, great treble. It is a just complete, well-tuned IEM for providing that bass head satisfaction, but at the same time, you're not going to be like, oh, I'm listening to this and it's too dark. Like, there is proper amount of balance everywhere to give you the bass cannon experience, but you're not missing anything else. So the mid-range for the Legion, everything sounds so natural and so warm and enveloping, and the BCD implementation here is really firing all cylinders. So male vocals have proper amount of weight to it, a proper amount of warmth. It's not the warmest sounding, but it's there. It's just a small little tweak, or putting it on tubes is just gonna really bring it out even further. I put it on the Muse M5 Ultra, and that just, it was so engaging. The instruments sound phenomenal. They sound natural. The guitar strings, piano like notes, everything with the added note weight of the BCD is so engaging and so just compelling and enveloping, and it gets you really lost in the music. The musicality is excellent here. Female vocals also sound good. The elevation there to bring vocals a bit more, not necessarily forward, but more present, to give it that balance. Like, you can feel the presence there, and the female vocals sound excellent. There's proper amount of air in the upper mids, and it really gives some credence to any type of library that includes like K-pop and stuff like that. The Legion does really well with a lot of different genres of music, and I think it is not just limited to being a bass cannon for everybody, you know, with hip hop and stuff like that. It does phenomenal across the board. And where, you know, if you're listening to something more acoustic, the bass will step back and allow the mid-range to really shine through and have that engagement factor with the BCD. And when you're listening to like hip hop or something like that, not necessarily it takes a step back, but that engagement factor now shifts towards the bass side. And that is a sign of a good bass head IEM, that it allows that transition between I'm listening to something that's like hip hop, or, you know, something where a lot of kick drums, like Motley Crue Kickstart My Heart, like that's going to start, you know, pounding my head. And then I'm switching over to something acoustic or instrumental or classical, and it does not skip a beat. It doesn't hold back. It doesn't feel held back. It just continues to roll on all cylinders. And that's what the Legion does. It does a phenomenal job of keeping up to any type of genre of music with phenomenal vocals, great instrument note weight, and just great instrument detail across the board. It's not the most technical sounding set, but it is one of the more fun musical sounding sets out there. So the treble for the FlipEars Legion, it is properly boosted, and in a way that it doesn't feel like you're going to be dining in treble hell here. Like, it has a good amount of elevation, it has a good amount of balance. It kind of is boosted to offset how phenomenal the bass and the mid-range is without being distracting. So it's not harsh, it's not sibilant, it's not grainy at all when I listen to music at a higher volume. It's engaging, it's not the most incisive, but it's not the crispest sounding, but it's boosted to a way where it provides good balance and you're not feeling like you're missing anything. Yes, it's not the star of the show here. The mid-range and the bass are, but it doesn't feel like it's missing. So there's still satisfaction for bass heads to get the phenomenal bass performance, but not feel like they're missing any amount of air or any amount of treble details that they're looking for. So the technical performance for the Legion, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. There's a lot of good things to like about the technical performance, because as musical as the overall Legion sounds, it has very good technical capabilities. The imaging and separation is great. It does a very precise job of layering instruments how you'd expect it in busy tracks. So listening to like Tank from the Seatbelts, Cowboy Bebop, listening to any orchestra, listening to rock songs, like there's a lot of engagement and detail and separation there. The soundstage is enveloping. It's wide enough that it's not distracting. Doesn't feel narrow or anything like that. And it does a very good job of like almost engaging and surrounding you in your music. So it's like trying to place you in the center and really surround you like surround sound in a way. It's just very well done. The technical performance is surprising how good it is considering how musical the Legion is. And overall, it's not a stinker there. It does a very good job of providing technical performance, even though it is one of the more engaging and musical sounding IEMs out there. So who is the FlipEars Legion for? It works in a lot of different libraries. It works for a lot of different genres. K-pop, it works for blues, it works for rock music, it works for orchestra, it works for singer-songwriter, considering how well it does the mid-range. I don't think I felt a genre was lacking in any way. Now, the FlipEars Legion is not going to be for treble heads or neutral heads. There's still bass emphasized even for as balanced as it sounds at the same time. Like, it's almost a conundrum there, but it does a very good job of handling a lot of my library and giving me my bass that I love. And like, considering the price point of it being under $1,000 and the value there, like, I think it could be a very good addition to anybody's library. It is unique and different, and if you don't have like that BCD experience that like feels different than the rest of your IEMs, this is it. And a phenomenal looking package. it's so gorgeous looking, and I think a lot of people will really like this as an addition to their library. So comparisons. Does Legion put up a good fight against its peers, or does it a wash? I have a few sets in my possession, including another bass head set and one that's similarly priced, and I'll do some comparisons with those. I have the Jomo Nautilus here. That is a 1 dynamic driver, 2 BCD, and 1 microplanar driver set. So, also a gold fun boy, and that set is more on the incisive side in this case. So where the Legion is more immersive and the BCD experience is amped up to 11 and it's in your face with how aggressive and fun it is, the Jomo Nautilus is more of a fun tuning style. It's unique. It's definitely more on a balance of bass, mid-range, and treble incisiveness. And the fun is more in the standard tuning that borders between analytical and musical at the same time. That has really good bass, that has very good mids. The treble is where it takes it over, because Legion, I think, has better bass and better mids. The Jomo Nautilus has more incisive sounding and potentially sharper, more harsher treble to certain people that are treble sensitive, but it is part of its incisive nature that makes it more fun. I would probably put the Jomo Nautilus as similar to like the brain dance with the incisiveness of the planar, and kind of more, maybe a bassier brain dance, a Dunu brain dance. So if you're looking for something that's more like maybe on the analytical but still has a little bit of musicality to it with better bass, like that's the Jomo Nautilus. Whereas Legion, in my opinion, has better bass and better mids, and still really good treble, maybe not as sharp or maybe not as incisive as the Jomo Nautilus, but I think it punches above its weight as well. I personally prefer the FlipEars Legion in this case, but the Jomo Nautilus is also a very good IEM. Another bassier IEM that I have is the Nightjar Singularity that I'm currently checking out, and I'm just gonna kind of hold it up. So the Nightjar Singularity is a bass head IEM, and the tuning is very aggressive. It grabs very similarly to the Kiwi Ears X HBB Punch, also the Maestro Mini, all the way up until the mid section or the upper mid section where it does drop off, and the kind of darker like tuning for the Nightjar Singularity gives it more of that bassier field impact. How does it compare to the FlipEars Legion? So the Nightjar Singularity is interesting because I like what the sub bass is doing on initial attack. It's very deep sounding, it has very good energy there, but the energy is dispersed really quickly. The decay is very fast compared to like the FlipEars Legion or even the Jomo Nautilus. So while I can enjoy the sub bass for the Nightjar Singularity, I do feel like it's over too quickly, and it almost borders like trying to be analytical while giving you that high amount of sub bass and a little bit of good mid bass punch to it. It kind of is over in a moment, and it doesn't feel necessarily as satisfying to my ears. With it also being on the darker side, where the treble is rolled off a bit more and it's pushed down from a lot of like standard HRTFs or preference or targets, it does come off as darker and it's less lively and almost, I want to say, more on the boring side, whereas a FlipEars Legion is engaging and a good amount of quality and quantity of sub bass, mid bass, like mids. It does not feel boring to me. So I would honestly give my nod over to the FlipEars Legion. I'm also going to bring up the punch now, since I mentioned it. The Kiwi Ears X HBB Punch is a very good bass head IEM. Where I think the FlipEars Legion does better is that the bass is more engaging. I don't necessarily know if it's like the full same amount of quality or quantity. The quality is better on the FlipEars Legion. It's very similar in terms of that. But I think the FlipEars Legion is a bassier, to my ears, set due to the engagement of the BCD. I think if you were to compare the two, if you want a warmer, more engaging set, the Legion is where it's at. If you want a very good bass head set that has a little bit more of that analytical capability, is more laid back and probably not as aggressive as the Legion, like the HBB Punch is very good and also a very like more price conscious because that is going to be less than what the FlipEars Legion retails for. That being said, there's also the FlipEars Aegis. I don't have that on hand, but I'm very curious about how that'll pair up against the HBB punch. But yeah, overall, I like the Legion a lot against its competition. I think it punches above its weight. There is another IEM. I have a lot of footage recorded for it. I still need to put it all together, but the Empire Ears Triton, I'm going to drop an image for that right now. But the Empire Ears Triton is a very good, also BCD, like bass head tuned, but good elevation on the treble and mid-range set. And honestly, I think the Legion like kind of wipes the floor with it. The Legion does the engagement of the bass as good as the Triton, but has extra push on the mid-range, or the upper mids and the treble to give it character, good balance, not too dark, not too bright. Just overall, I think the Legion kind of hits right at that mark, and I would honestly prefer the Legion more than the Triton in this case. But yeah, FlipEars, phenomenal job, more than competes with its peers, and does a great job against its competition, and honestly throws a knockout punch to a lot of them. So, other things to note. The unboxing experience is going to be different for people with a retail unit. I did not have a retail unit. This was a reviewer set that was made for me to ship on, and it's going to be sent over to somebody next. The cable, the tip settings are included. Like, they may be different than what you see. The actual IEM is not. That is a gorgeous IEM. Probably one of the best looking IEMs out there. And in fact, I would say, based on the packaging and the performance, like it's retailing under $1,000, and I think it's worth like just saving up for a little bit and pulling the trigger on, because it's priced very well, it's very aggressive, it's a unique experience. Like, I don't think anybody would begrudge you like picking that up, because it's a very good set. The volume listening I used it at was kind of more on the moderate high level. The treble is boosted a little bit to give more balance, and at the same time, like if you push it up to higher volume listening, the treble never gets harsh or grainy. Like, I can enjoy my music with like deep hip hop hits and punchiness and rock music and tracks and stuff like that, and it works really well in those libraries. So I don't feel like you have to limit yourself to volume. You could listen to it if you prefer like moderate to moderate low, like it works. If you prefer higher volume listening, like it works perfectly fine for, you know, any type of volume listening. Sources, it's very flexible. It doesn't need a lot of power. It likes power, it does, but it doesn't need a lot of power to really shine through. And like, you could run it with tubes. I was using the Muse Hi-Fi M5 Ultra, and it added more note weight that I didn't really need because it already has plenty. So if you want that extra warmth, you can go that route, but I think a transparent, more neutral source works really well. Something that gives a little bit extra power just to give it some more like openness in the treble and the soundstage and technical performance. But otherwise, like, you could just go with an Abigail Pro and it's going to be fine. So yeah. The FlipEars Legion, really good like balance of sound, performance, value, honestly, and I think it hits a home run here. So in conclusion, the FlipEars Legion is a very special IEM under $1,000. It provides something that's fun and unique and aggressively different than the marketplace. BCDs are a dime a dozen nowadays. They're coming out left and right. The implementation technologies can be utilized more and more. I think the FlipEars Legion does a great job of providing you that experience in a very fun, aggressive way. It's punchy, it's deep sounding, the balance is there, and it's one of my favorite sets under $1,000. I've listened to a lot of different ones. I've been to several meetups and shows, and I highly recommend checking it out. Speaking of shows, at the time of this recording, it's the weekend of February 16th. I'm releasing this a week before New York City CanJam. If you are in town in New York and you are curious about listening to this, I highly recommend going to the FlipEars booth. Aries will be there. Say hi. Tell them that you want to listen to the Legion or the Aegis. I have not heard the Aegis yet, but I'm very excited to check that one out as well. But go say hi. Go give this a try, and you may end up just pulling the trigger right then and there because of how fun this set is. I highly recommend it. And if you are listening to this or watching this after New York City CanJam, then upcoming shows, if he's there, feel free to check it out, or not feel free, you should go check it out. It's just so good and so fun. Overall, I give the FlipEars Legion a 5 out of 5. It's an easy 5 out of 5 for me. I think it scores pretty well overall. I'll have to do some final tabulations, but like my personal bias score is like through the roof because of how much I enjoy this set. So yeah, overall I give it a 5 out of 5, and I highly recommend checking it out. There's a lot to like with this IM, and I don't think you'll be disappointed when you check it out. You'll either you might love it, you might not think that BCD implementation, the basiness is like your cup of tea. Like, it's not going to be for everybody, but for the people that would like something like that, this is it. This is one of the most fun sets I've ever heard. So yeah, again, I'm Make It Wayne, and until next time.